Ladies and gentlemen, this is PJ Kavaya, the voice of State Wars Hockey, and you are watching the SWH podcast brought to you by Glass Half Full Productions. Thank you to all of our amazing sponsors, Mission Bauer, Tour, Alkali, La Beta, Rink Rat, Conix, Warrior, Monkey Sports, Yord Watches, Car Shield, Rocket Puck, Wraparound, and Top Shelf Targets. We look forward to seeing you all on the rink soon.
State Wars Hockey Podcast number 9. Tim McManus here with Greg Thompson, all the way from Long Island, New York. How's it going today, Greg?
We're back at it today, Tim. Looking forward to another podcast. Just kind of hanging, prepping. We've been prepping the last couple of days for this beauty of an episode, so it should be a cool one.
Yeah, we got a couple Cali boys on today. Matt White and John Siemer. Affectionately known as Whitey and John for those that are in those inner circles, I guess. Two great guys, two great players, both doing different things right now in the hockey world. So real excited to have both them on. Two great personalities, two great hockey players and people. So excited for that. And just trucking along here. Another day, like I told you last week, I feel like the guy in jail just marking the wall of what day it is. Just another day in this quarantine. So, nicer weather here in New York last few days. Yeah. Got a little, you see the little farmer's tan, little nice and red from the last couple of days here, Greg.
Yeah, look at you.
Yeah. So how are you guys doing?
Yeah, same thing, man. It was nice over the weekend. Did a crap load of yard work, just trying to get the yard together here. And I took the bike out the last couple of days, so that's been good. Been getting my burn through the bicycle these days, and that's really it. Just watching a little TV here and there. I know you've been watching the documentary with Michael Jordan as well. Did you watch the last 2 episodes?
Yeah, I watched them last night. I feel like that's like the great topic each week now is The Last Dance. So, yeah, I watched both of them. What about you?
Yeah, I watched 1.5. So 5 and half of 6. So.
Yeah, I've been loving it. I know we've talked about it before, and definitely love the intensity of Michael Jordan. Love seeing the behind-the-scenes stuff. I've always been a fan of his. Definitely a little bit of a douche. You can see that dicky side of him a little bit of a bully to the guys, and definitely someone I'm sure when you're in his little inner circle and you're one of his boys, it's got to be probably the best ride of the world to be on his side.
Yeah.
But I could see him being tough, and I guess to get to his level, not that you have to be mean to everyone, but you got to have a certain personality, and that he's definitely that ultra alpha male for sure. But definitely entertaining to watch, and I definitely enjoy it.
Yeah, he loves to gamble, obviously, so that was pretty funny watching him bet with the security guards. I guess they were throwing coins at the wall. I guess the closest coin to the wall would win, or yeah. So that was pretty funny. And, the whole thing with Isaiah Thomas and the dream team and stuff like that, which just goes to show you, like in any other sport, just like roller hockey, if teammates don't like you and no one wants you around, then, you're not going to make the team. And that's basically what happened with Isaiah.
Yeah, I mean, I even know is, just coach at Team USA for the roller hockey team, and when Joe Cook and I in 2017 were going over players for invites, that was definitely a conversation of, personalities and who would get along with who, and if someone's just not really someone that guys get along with. And even last year, you and I, we're talking about players with that. And, when you're on these teams that you travel away and, they were Team USA going to Barcelona also, like we did last summer, the first dream team. There's a lot of personalities there, especially, and egos, and guys are making millions of dollars, and it's definitely so important for guys to get along.
Yep.
And when Magic Johnson doesn't like it, says something, but Magic doesn't like you, Larry doesn't like you, Michael doesn't like, so I think it was probably easier for them to say, you know what, Isaiah could stay home. And the funny part is Chuck Daly was Isaiah's coach.
Yeah.
For the Pistons, and he was a coach of the Team USA that year, and he didn't even fight to take him, I guess, too hard. So that's got to say something there when the coach didn't even take him.
Yeah, exactly. When guys like that don't want you on a team, it really tells you something about the person. Not. And I know Michael said he was one of the best players he's ever played against. he was probably the second best point guard besides behind Magic.
Right.
But he's like, as a person, I just don't like him. And again, it goes a long way, for a team, because you want a team to bond. You're away for such a long time, and the tournament goes by pretty fast. And if the guys aren't clicking and getting along, then you're not going to do too well. So I think they made the right call that year.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously won, so you can never argue it when someone wins, right?
Yeah.
And there's always guys on any level, I'm sure, that cry or think they got screwed or whatnot. And maybe, they do deserve to make a team, but it's like, who do you take off, right?
Yeah.
So there's always a ton of guys that can make it, no different than the USA roller hockey team. We could probably make 3 teams that could go there and do well. So there's no right or wrong. You may think Alex Ovechkin's the best. I might think Sidney Crosby's the best. Doesn't mean one's right or they're not. It's just just how it is. If we had 50 guests on here, I'm sure 50 different answers could be said about who the best part of the NHL is. So it's just, there's no right or wrong. And, but personality does matter. And, message out there to a lot of players, being a good teammate is important. And, what goes around comes around. I hate to say it, you mess with people, screw with people and stuff. So nothing comes back to haunt you.
I always heard that they stayed on a yacht during that Olympic.
Oh, really?
I always heard that. And, from the looks of it, it looked like they were in the hotel a lot. So maybe I'll have to do some research on that.
Maybe a different year they stayed on a yacht.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
It was fun to watch, though. Yeah, the gambling thing's funny, too, because I'm sure you've seen on many hockey trips, guys love to gamble, I remember one year with the Snipers, way before pro, when we had youth teams. I remember we were flying to, I forgot where we were going, one of the trips. Might have been going out to California to play in a tournament. And Mike Cianfrani in our team is who was a teammate of yours, and Rob Shear. Both love to gamble. And I remember they would be gambling. I mean, guys would have lost basically all the money they brought with them for the trip before we even got there, just playing cards. These guys would gamble on 2 ants running across the sidewalk. It didn't matter. They just wanted to gamble. And that was what you brought up with Michael.
Yeah.
He's betting against his security guys in the locker room about, whose coin gets to be closer to the wall when they flip it. So that's pretty funny.
Well, I mean, that was pretty hysterical. And then he was trying to get him out of the locker room. He's like, "Oh, security, get security out." So it was pretty funny. But yeah, Cianfrani and Shear, those 2 were characters. Oh my God. They were like Dumb and Dumber.
Oh yeah. They love to gamble.
Oh, they gamble with anything and anyone. It's kind of like Dave Hammond and like Chris Terry. Those guys, they love to gamble as well. So
I'm sure not all these guys are playing golf. Like he in the show too, him with the golf. So they're just betting on every hole, everything, every putt. I can imagine the pressure going on with these guys. And like the reporter said, if Michael Jordan loses $10,000, that's like you and I losing $10. So it's not a big deal.
It's nothing. Yeah, like you said before, when we were talking, you're like, yeah. It's like, I've never seen Michael Jordan actually win in golf. He's always handing money over. So I don't know how good he is.
Every bet he made, he seemed like he lost. So it's good to be Michael Jordan, I guess. But moving on to State Wars news. Here we're just plugging along here, hearing from people every day. Obviously, people hoping to be able to come to State Wars this summer. Like I mentioned last week, we're highly considering maybe sliding our dates back to August 1st. And I'll have that figured out in the next couple of days, but we're definitely looking at maybe moving our dates back to August 1st to the 10th, just to get us into that August month. Seems like a smart idea and might work well better with Michigan and the facility there. But obviously, it's all still question marks with things going on everywhere. So frustrating. But I could be on this pod for an hour talking about just how frustrated I am with the governments and what information we're getting and what's real and what's not. I think there's a lot of things at play here, which is really frustrating for us. But still got to be safe, do the right things. Got a few birthday shout outs today. Let's mention here quickly here. So I know we got Jeff Kocher, our buddy from Pure Hockey, another Long Island native who's now living in Rhode Island. He's out there. So wish him a happy birthday. I think he's 31 today. And I saw yesterday was Ryan Lemke, our buddy from Michigan.
Yeah, saw that too.
The Border Cats. His birthday was yesterday. So, we wish those guys happy birthdays. And so tomorrow is our old friend Todd Melton. May rest in peace. His birthday tomorrow. So a lot of good hockey people right there. So happy birthday to everyone with that.
Yeah, I also want to wish you a happy Cinco de Mayo, Tim.
Mhm.
You guys
Yeah.
doing tacos tonight or anything like that?
I wonder if a lot of people are drinking Coronas tonight or not. I wonder if is that a banned beer still, or people realize that the Corona beer did not cause the coronavirus. I know they said at the beginning there was a lot of dumb people out there that were thinking they were related and they were banning Corona beer. So
yeah, they kind of spun that pretty good and made a joke out of it, Corona. But yeah, I'll probably have a margarita tonight or something. Maybe quesadillas, tacos. We'll see.
yeah, usually we have Taco Tuesdays here, so I'm
Yeah.
sure we'll have some kind of tacos tonight, hopefully.
Yeah.
And yeah, just real excited for our guests today. Our first guest, that we're going to bring on, Matt White. He plays for us with the Snipers, as you know. Incredible player. Listening to our podcasts, all 8 episodes we've had so far, when you ask our guests, who's the most exciting player to watch, who's your favorite player to watch, who do you think the best player in the pro division, he's been a name that you've heard come up numerous times. If it wasn't a Travis Snow, it was Matt White, it seemed like, was the answer more times than not to that question. And from coaching him with the Snipers and with Team USA, it's hard to argue that. He's an incredible hockey player, great teammate, great pure goal scorer, maybe the best pure goal scorer that I've seen. And, he did his damage with Team USA as well, coaching him in 2017 there. He didn't play with us last year, but he was with us in Slovakia with the IHF tournament. And you've played with him numerous times on Team USA and the Snipers.
Yeah, he's explosive, that's for sure, and very dynamic. He's fast. He's got a great shot. He's an awesome teammate. He's a lot of fun on and off the rink.
Yeah.
And there's not many guys. There's a lot of fast players out there. There's not a lot of fast players who can control the puck at the same time like Matt White can. I feel like his speed is ridiculous with the puck. And he turns it on and off, kind of like what Speezy was talking about the other day when he kind of, he wants to be a better skater in the aspect of changing gears. And I feel like Matt White does that tremendously. He's great around the net. He could shoot the puck from the outside, works his ass off, so awesome player. And especially on those international rinks, where it's wide open, those old double IHF rinks, that game is really, really made for him, and it
bigger, wider rink, more room.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And he could do some damage out there. That's for sure.
Yeah. Two stories I always think of with Matt White, and they both with Narch. I remember it might've been the first year or so he played with us. We were in Florida, and it was the first game of the tournament. We were playing the Grizzlies, and Matt had said he hadn't skated on his roller skates since the summer before, not one time. So he's like, "Oh, this should be fun." And he went out there, and you would never know that he hadn't played the day before, and the day before that, and the day before that, he was just fine. Yeah. And I was just like, "Wow," And then the other thing I think of a play when we were in Narch, the last time we won in Atlanta a couple of years ago, we were playing against I don't know if it was Pama, I don't know who it was, but Junior I think was covering him, and a puck got hit off the boards down the rink to him, and he was skating backwards. The puck was coming to him, and I think it was Junior, I forgot who it was in front of him and would have intercepted it. And as he's skating backwards, he stick checked him.
Yep.
Took the puck off the boards, through his legs, turned, went in, went a breakaway and scored. And I was just sitting on the bench, it was right in front of us.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, that's a play that maybe 3 guys in the entire sport could have made right there, if that.
Yeah.
But that's Matt White.
Yeah, he's got some crazy hands, and he loves that little 5-hole move that we'll be checking out later on our videos that we have prepared for him. So we'll have some laughs with Matt, that's for sure.
Yeah. So without further ado, let's bring this guy on here. Here we go, Matt White, the man, the myth, the legend.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is PJ Cavalla, the voice of State Wars Hockey, and you are watching the SWH podcast brought to you by Glass Half Full Productions. See you at the rink soon.
Can you hear me?
There he is.
There we go.
How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you? I was waiting when you guys were going to let me in.
We saw Ashley was in the waiting room, so I was getting excited. I was like, oh, maybe Matt decided to put his better half on here.
Yeah, she's probably more excited than I would have been.
What's up, lady? How are you?
How are you guys doing?
We're hanging in there, man. So where are you tell everyone where you're at these days right now.
I'm in Maryland right now at my fiance's parents' place. Flew into they're close to DC and stuff. So when I came back from Europe, flew into DC, and we usually hang out here for a couple weeks before we go down to Omaha and stay for the summer.
Awesome. So before we get into real specifics, just let's talk a little bit about your childhood. Growing up in California, we know it's a hotbed for roller hockey, but so I know your older brother was a hockey player and coach and whatnot. Is that what got you involved in hockey in the first place?
Yeah, he played ice hockey, like 16 and 18, ice hockey and stuff like that. And he played roller hockey as well. There was a roller hockey rink in Whittier, California, and it was like the old wood, and they just played like rec league and stuff like that. So I'd have to wait my turn after all the games, and he would stay out luckily for about 20-30 minutes, and we'd play that way. But I really started like not focusing, but getting into it when he would put on his pads, put them on me and take shots at me. So it was kind of not fun for me at the beginning, but we'd spend, like, me and my little brother, he's only a couple years younger. We'd spend a lot of time in the driveway playing one-on-one and just messing around, pretend fighting, doing what brothers do.
Mm-hmm. So you were on the wheels before the ice, obviously, then.
Yeah, I tried a couple times ice, just like public skate with my brother, but it was always roller hockey just because it was so much easier just playing in the driveway and stuff like that. So I think we were on the skates every day. And my first actual like roller hockey game was in Brea Hockey Club back in the day when I was about 3-4 years old. So my grandma took me to Brea Hockey Club, and that was where I, spent most of my time as a kid.
Yeah, a lot of great players came from Brea.
Oh yeah. There's a bunch of stories. I mean, one of the main things for me was growing up in that area. Quinn and the guys that ran that place were so nice to me. Being as a young kid, I'd go right from school and grab my bag and my stick and go right to Brea Hockey Club as soon as school was over, and I would stay there all day. And if anyone needed a sub or anything, I would jump in, and then after all the games and stuff, help clean up, and then we'd have older guys skate, like Kevin Adams, Troy Redmond, those guys, and we would skate till 1 in the morning and have pretty good skates. So I was very fortunate. Those guys were so nice to let me hang around with them.
It's funny you bring up watching the older guys. I remember when I was a kid, I grew up in Valley Stream, Long Island, which was a pretty big hotbed for roller hockey out here at one time. And we had an outdoor rink, and I would go down there and watch the older guys play just to get on the rink for like the 1 minute break between periods. And I'd jump out on the rink and we'd skate around, shoot pucks, and then get yelled at, get off real quick. And we do that probably for 6-7 hours. And we got like 12 minutes of hockey by the end of it, but it was just to get on the rink for a few minutes and get off. That's what we did for every weekend.
Yeah, I used to do that stuff too. Like I'd score keep at the rink, and then in between periods, I'd run out, start stick handling, fire some balls or pucks at the net, and rush back into the box and start the game up. But those are some great memories, just looking up to the older guys, watching them play, and then being around the rink and scorekeeping. Those are always some good times for me.
So Maddie, when did you start playing, obviously, serious ice hockey? At what age did you start playing, like travel, like really getting more into it?
Travel, it was about, I'd say 13, like the 12, 13 range. And it wasn't the best. It wasn't like AAA hockey, stuff like that. We were playing, like, I think my first season it was B. But I had no intentions of really playing ice hockey or taking it very serious for the first, I'd say probably 5-6 years.
Right.
I played mostly just because my friends were playing, and that's how I essentially got more time on the ice. It became more serious when I got older.
Yeah, it probably helped you a little bit too by playing maybe a little bit lower level. You played a ton, probably. You weren't just sitting on the bench because, we have a lot of people watching and whatnot that probably feel that, hey, my kid's 6. If he's not on the AAA team right now and he's not playing 7 days a week, he's not going to make the NHL. That's kind of the mindset these days. But obviously, that wasn't your experience.
Yeah, I think it depends in some areas too. Like in California, there's not it's not like Michigan where there's 10 great teams. In California when I was growing up, it was kind of tough to. Um, there were so many kids fighting for about two teams, and um, there's certain situations that other kids are in that maybe don't work out for the team and stuff like that. So um, I wasn't too worried about it. I mean, it would have been nice to um, know a little more about the ice hockey world at that point, just so I could, maybe play a lot more hockey. But I mean, I can't complain because we playing roller hockey. We were playing those tournaments all weekend, and then you have 2 games of ice hockey. So I mean, I was getting plenty of
Right.
rink time in. So I wasn't too disappointed with that.
Right. So, Matt, after playing in California, he went on to play for the Omaha Lancers in the USHL. And then right from there, you jumped to play for the University of Nebraska, Omaha. So obviously you enjoyed your time in Nebraska, I would assume, spending 6 straight years there before just for hockey.
Yeah, it was going to the Lancers. My first year was I didn't know what to expect. Obviously, going from California, the city and stuff like that. Like I'm a big city guy, but going to Omaha, Nebraska, I expected the usual, flat land, cornfield, stuff like that. And when I showed up in Omaha, I was very surprised because the city is actually amazing. It's a little smaller, obviously, than California, but great people. It's pretty big in size, and um, for me, going to the Lancers was awesome, and things worked out with me staying there for college. I didn't have to move, get used to a new city, so I didn't mind it being there 6 years.
Matt, how did you get recruited there? Just
Um,
from playing juniors there, or?
yeah, so I originally, when I was at prep school at Cushing Academy in Massachusetts, I committed to New Hampshire. Um, and did the East Coast like visits and stuff like that. So I was pretty set on New Hampshire, and then when I went to the Lancers, I played for Coach Mike Hastings. He coaches at
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota State now,
Yep.
and became really close with him over the when I was at prep school and stuff like that. We had a close relationship, and then playing for him. Then he left to UNO, and things didn't work out with New Hampshire, so I wasn't committed to any school for about 6 months, and then he called me and said he was going to be at UNO and asked if I would play for him. So it was a no brainer. I'd play for that guy any day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I see with the Lancers, your last year, so 2009-10, Matt led the team in scoring, no shock, with 82 points. But I never realized before I noticed that Dakota Evelyn, so another roller boy from California, was on that team with you. So that'd be pretty cool to have a buddy from back home playing as well.
Yeah, of course. I've always, even before we went to the Lancers, I was always close with Dakota. So when I got the news that we were both kind of heading in that direction, going the same year, I was pretty excited. And to this day, we're still pretty close. So I consider him one of my best buddies, and kind of like a little brother, So
Right.
it's always good to see and catch up with him, especially not living in California and seeing him at roller tournaments. And wish he got to play a little more, but certain circumstances happened, so you had to stop playing. But
Right.
Yeah.
And then I saw you 3 years of college. So Matt finished with 99 points. So Matt, you couldn't get one more just to get you the 100th. But obviously a pretty awesome career for 3 years to have 99 points in Omaha. And then right from there, you jumped to the East Coast Hockey League, back out west, played for the Ontario Reign. And speak about your experience out there, being back home playing professional hockey.
I loved it. It was about 30 minutes from where I was living at the time, and it's close just because I had all my family, and they got to. My mom would fly out every now and then and see me, so she got to see me play maybe once or twice a year. But it was nice for my brothers and my aunts and my cousins, and just people that don't get to travel quite as often to come see me play. But I loved it. I mean, nice weather. Living in Ontario, it's a nice city, nice rink. So
Great crowds too, right, Matt?
yeah,
Yeah.
I would say I think it held about probably between 85, 8,500 and 10,000, but we'd probably get around the 85 mark. So
It's pretty good.
it was awesome. I mean, I had nothing but positive things happen there, so I was happy.
Yeah. Any good crazy Kramer stories from those days?
It was so funny playing with that guy. Just because from roller hockey, he's such a good player, but just hearing him, like, my thing was getting him going on the bench, like, kind of if he's in, an irritated mood or something like that, he gets going, he starts talking really fast, and he's like, he's easy to mess with, I should say, but
Oh yeah.
I don't know about any good stories that I could really say, but
Sure, yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's for me, the best things where you're just getting him going on the bench during the game and watching him flip out. And usually about 30 seconds later after he had the flip out, he was scoring a goal. So he was all happy.
When I think of Kramer, I always think, and those who don't know, so Crazy Kramer, Kyle Kramer, he's the captain of our Mission Snipers roller hockey team, pro team, which Matt played with the Ontario Reign with him. Kyle's from St. Louis, played at Northeastern, and then wound up playing the East Coast Hockey League with Matt. But I always think of this story when I was at State Wars in 2010. We were in Chicago, and former NHLer Pat Verbeek was there. He had set up a business he had started. He was a sponsor of ours. So I was talking to Pat one day because I'm a big Ranger fan. He played with the Rangers, and we started talking about Mark Messier. And he told me a great Mark Messier story, and I picture Kramer in the same scenario. He said that Messier was a lunatic about his skates, and everything was about his sharpening, how he looked out there, his skating, and obviously was a great skater. So he said one day he gets a skate sharp and comes out, and Verbeek and a couple of the guys just say, what's screw with Mess today, and they're just asking him, like, hey, what's going on? Like, you hurt your ankle or something? Or are those new skates? Like, you just don't look the same out there, and just messing with him. And they said he was going crazy. Said he'd be the guy. He would have 24 pairs of skates and would just mix and match a left and right from different skates. And I just think of Crazy is that same kind of guy that you can mess with so easy, and just he's off his rocker.
Oh yeah, for sure. Go ahead.
I remember his father, Mr. Kramer. So I guess it was maybe when he was playing juniors. Yeah, probably juniors. I guess obviously the league or team, they have sponsor deals so that they have to use a certain stick. And Kyle was not having that. So he had his dad spray paint, the stick that he really wanted to use, and stencil in logos so it looked just like the stick that they were supposed to be using, so we could use that stick.
That's a little nuts.
Yeah.
The thing that those stories kind of popped out in Ontario now, with the big thing with him was his sticks. If he missed the net a couple times, he's like, it's the sticks, I can't play with these. Like, I'm done this game. Right. Or another thing was, like, I think it was like he had a shoulder problem or a back problem, one of the two, and it was just bothering him all game, bothering for a couple weeks, and he was still, getting his chances, getting his points here and there, but he wasn't, like the same Kramer.
Right.
But all of a sudden he just had enough after about 3-4 games and comes to me, he's like, Whitey, my back's hurt. And this is during a game. He's like, my back's hurt. I'm done. I mean, I'm going to retire. I'm done. And, he gets, like, my impression doesn't do justification, but he was just going off and thinking about retirement. So, oh yeah, it's pretty good.
And then he'd go out there and score a goal and be like, all right, I'm good now.
Yeah.
So after the East Coast Hockey League, Matt went on to play in the American Hockey League for the Milwaukee Admirals, which is affiliate to the Nashville Predators. And here's a shot of him there. So obviously next level up now. We talked about it the other day when Tyler Speezy was on. The American Hockey League is the level right before the NHL. So that had to be pretty exciting to get to that point, and knowing that you're so close to the NHL and to be with such a great organization as the Predators.
Yeah, for sure. Right before I went from Ontario, they did the flip-flop with the Manchester Monarchs. So I stayed with the Reign and just became the Monarchs, but I stayed in the Coast and started the season there. And then for whatever reason, I don't know if it was injuries, whatever, but I got called up to Milwaukee. And same thing, I knew Taylor Aronson, who was already there for a couple years, so knew what to expect from the team, and didn't know much about the city, but same thing, great fans. Organization was unbelievable. They're very hands-on, and the coaches are amazing as well at the time. So yeah, they gave me a great opportunity and kind of ran with it a little bit.
That's got to be a tough lineup to crack, obviously, get up to the Predators. I mean, I guess a lot of it sometimes is luck, right? Like what team you're with and where they need, the holes filled and whatnot. And to be a top 6 forward on that team, I guess it got to be pretty tough.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I wasn't going there right away. I knew once I went in to Milwaukee, I was going to be at the bottom, 4th line, stuff like that. And eventually, after a couple games, had some luck and moved up throughout the season. And then didn't really know what the plan was after that first season. They could have, did whatever. And luckily got an offer for the next season and played top 2 lines and stuff like that. So I'm very grateful for the chances they gave me.
I mean, Whitey, you play with guys who are legit NHL guys these days, like Fiala and Sissons, and you played with Victor Arvidsson, right?
Yep, he was down. Arvidsson was down for 20 games or so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
Saros was your goalie there too, right? Wasn't Saros the goalie there?
Yeah, and then they had who else? Frederick Goudreau's
up
and down with Nashville, and then
Watson.
Yeah, Watson. Kamenev, he's in Colorado now.
Yep.
Yes, I mean, we had a
tough lineup.
There's a lot of young guys, and even the older guys. Like I played with Trevor Smith, played in Toronto for a while.
Yep.
So I mean, the lineup that Milwaukee always put together was pretty deep, and you knew the young guys were going to make the NHL eventually. So I'm not surprised about those guys being full-time NHL guys.
Now, when you were at camp with these guys and you get to see on the ice Roman Josi or a Ryan Ellis or, some of the talents of some of these guys, it's got to be a pretty unreal experience.
Oh, yeah. It's for me, it was pretty awesome just being in that, that team environment with all those guys. And for me, it was awesome just because going into that situation, all the guys were, so humble and so nice, and they treated you with respect no matter who you were. So I think that's a big thing in that organization. That's why they have all that success, is because it doesn't matter who you are coming into that locker room. It's respect, and that's why they have that success, I think.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you're fortunate to play with the Admirals, and for the Nationals farm team. But, do you think if you're given another opportunity, another franchise organization, you think you could have made it to the next level?
I mean, who knows? I mean, I would like to say, yeah, but I mean, there's always that situation that if I went to a different organization, maybe I didn't get that chance in the American League to play first, second line, or get on the power play, stuff like that. So, I mean, who really knows? I'd like to say yeah, but just because, I mean, you got to have, a bit of confidence in yourself to make it to those levels. So I think if I was given an opportunity, yeah, for sure, I think could have made that jump. But also I was grateful for the opportunities that I was in Milwaukee.
Right. I think the Islanders probably could have used you at some point.
Sorry, say that again?
So the Islanders probably could have used you at some point.
Yeah.
I would have taken anything.
Well, then, hockey takes us to crazy places all over the world. So Matt then from there went on to play in the Dell, which is a league out of Germany, which is considered one of the top leagues in all of Europe. Played 2 years there. Obviously, great league, great competition. Get to see parts of the world. You had great success there in that league. Did you enjoy your time in Germany?
Yeah, I loved it. It was same that we were about 40 minutes from Munich. So town is called Augsburg, and it's perfect size. I mean, not big, not small. So, and the fans were crazy. That was my first experience with a full season of just a sold out place and fans yelling the whole time. It's like a soccer game, just everyone's screaming and throwing beers and stuff when you score a goal. It's nuts.
You got a video, Greg? I think we got a pretty good video from Matt in the Dell with a pretty sick goal. And this is just patented Matt White for those of us who get to watch him pretty often. But I want you guys to check this one out here.
White. Wird die Scheibe abgefangen. Oh, schön durchgesetzt. Und was für ein Tor! Wie er da kurz verlädt und dann auch noch Strahlmeier durch die Hosenträger Das ist überragend gemacht.
Now, Matt, I don't know what the hell that guy's saying, but it had to be something pretty good because that was a pretty sweet goal.
Yeah, I'm still not sure what he said either, but the funniest part of the video is after I scored, one of my line mates just runs over the goalie. So it was kind of the double thing, but yeah, it was even playing on the road. Like some of the rinks are like, if you're that team actually, they were having a tough year that year. And I think it was either that game or another game we were beating them pretty good, and their fans started like booing and cheering for us when we had the puck and like we're doing something positive. So it was kind of crazy, but even on the road, like the fans and stuff are nuts.
Well, it's funny. I mentioned Mark Messier earlier, and that goal reminds me of him. That goal you do, it's the same. That was his patented move as a lefty. Come in, get a little deke, open the goalie up, pull back in, and slide through the legs. And we've seen that goal many a times on the sniper bench.
Yeah, I don't know what got me started in doing that move, but it's been, I don't know, even in California, like that was my go-to breakaway move. And so far it still works here and there. So I'm happy.
And that's been your go-to one-on-one move when you could do it too. That little under the stick, no big deal. See you later, and then you go with the backhand 5-hole. So seen that quite often.
I think roller hockey, Matt, has helped your hands.
I think it's helped incredibly. I think just in general, playing the one-on-one game in tight and stuff like that, especially teams that are playing, that tight man-on-man situation. It gives you a little more creativity one-on-one, but the biggest thing for me was just getting, playing those tournaments and playing more divisions, playing the older guys. That's what really helped me was, trying to keep up with the older guys. I always played up a couple divisions, and it was either I was taught, if you don't have the puck, go get the puck. And if someone steals it from you, don't whine about it, because when I started event, like my older brother would take the puck from me and I'd kind of, sit there and wait for him to give me the puck back, and he just wouldn't. So I eventually had to figure out a way to go get the puck, but figure out, pretty early on not to, sit there and wait for the puck, but trying to go get it yourself and having creativity while doing it.
So after being in the Dell for 2 years, Matt, 2019 season, you went to the KHL, the Continental Hockey League, which, you played in Russia. I guess from what I understand, it's a 24-team league. They have a team from Belarus, China, Finland, Latvia, Kazakhstan, and then I think 19 teams from Russia in that league. You were lucky enough to be one of the Russian teams. So obviously, got to be just a crazy place to play. Just talk a little bit about just playing in Russia and how different it is in playing in the United States.
Yeah, it's wild, to be honest. As far as hockey wise, it's a very defensive league, so it's tough to score. That especially when you're playing those top level teams like Moscow, and Moscow has 5 teams, I should say, but St. Petersburg and those teams, it's really tough to play just because teams are so defensive and getting in those scoring chances. But I loved it. It was a little difficult, obviously with the language barrier, but there's just so many things that go, like practices were pretty comical just because we had a translator who is all our coaches play in the States for probably close to 10 years. So they all spoke English. And our coach would do all the drills in Russian, and we'd have one of the coaches translate it for us while he's talking. And sometimes the translation, when it's translated, it doesn't come off the right way. So we're sitting there, going, after the drills are explained, like, what are we supposed to do? And we'd have to go first. And then the coach blows the whistle down 20 seconds later and starts screaming at us like we're supposed to know what we're doing. But there's just stuff like that. But
Joe Wrecker.
Yeah, overall, there's guys in there that are so skilled. It's ridiculous.
But that's who plays in that league, right?
Yeah, he plays in his hometown, Automobilist, with Nigel Dawes and Dan Sexton. They have a really good team. So, I mean, watching that guy play is pretty funny too. It's effortless for him.
And you talk about it being a defensive league. I look here, you led your team in scoring in 60 games played with 34 points. But when you look at those numbers, it's not like overly impressive. You're like, oh, 34 points, probably middle of the pack, leading the team in scoring. So that says a lot about how defensive that league must be.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I think the top scorers were around like the 60 mark and stuff like that. You have your 4 or 5 guys. Our team struggled quite a bit. We'd win one game, lose 5, win a couple, and then lose another 3 or 4. So it's pretty tough, but especially the budget wise too. So you can't compete with those Moscow, St. Petersburg teams that have a crazy budget and get those guys. But we found a way to make playoffs, and it was pretty awesome for our team. So I loved it.
Awesome.
How do you pronounce the name of the team and the city? I still can't pronounce it.
I'm gonna try my best, and this is probably not the correct way either, but the city is Nizhkamensk or something like that. That's how I say it, but it's probably wrong. And then the team is called Neftahimik.
Neftahimik, yeah.
And that means it's like petrochemist or oil chemist or something. But we have our mascot's like a pretty sick wolf. Like, our jerseys are pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'm looking at that full name, and all I think of, that'd be a lot of points in Scrabble, that team name right there.
For sure.
Any are there any like good stories you could share from like playing the KHL? Like, were there any, like, how is your team with like paying you guys? I've heard some nightmare stories where guys, would get paid before practice, and when during practice, some of the staff from the team would go in the locker room and take the money back, and guys would have to tape their money to their bodies. Any type of stories like that happen, or?
No, actually, fortunately for our team, for our imports on our team, we're one of the teams that got paid on time, got all our money and stuff like that. So that wasn't an issue on our team. Heard some stories though, like there's a guy on the Belarusian team, and he had like a points bonus his first points bonus was like 20 points or something like that. And I think he was at like 18 or 19. And the GM called him in, and they wanted to switch the bonus to 40 points. And they told him to like, hey, sign this contract. Like, we're switching it to 40. And he obviously declined that. And within like 3-4 days, he was traded or like fired or something like that.
Yeah, it's like the old stories from the old Black Sox days in baseball, where guys would have contracts, and they win 30 games a pitcher, they get this big money contract, and they were at 29 games, and they sat him for the last 2 weeks of the season to rest for the playoffs, just so they didn't have to pay him the bonus and things like that. So I guess those stories still happen in modern day sports.
Oh, yeah.
But besides the ice hockey, the real important stuff for this guy is all the damage he's done on the wheels, which he's done plenty of that. So we're gonna rewind back a little bit. So the Pama Pro division at State Wars started in 2015. Unfortunately, Matt was too busy traveling all over the country with his ice hockey career. Didn't play much State Wars as a kid. So his first experience was in 2015 in the Pama Pro division, playing with then the Mission Bauer Next Gen Factory team here. Here's a picture from that first year. You guys had got knocked out in the first round of the playoffs there, but what do you remember from that first year? Just new division, new tournament, just the competition obviously was real strong. Do you remember anything from that first year coming out?
Yeah, for sure. It was, I think our round robin games, we did pretty well. I don't remember exactly who we played, but our team was always we were always a very offensive team. So we went in there. I mean, every tournament we went into we're looking to win, but going into that tournament, you knew every team was really good, which, in some other tournaments that you play in there, you have those kind of games where it's going to get a little bit out of hand, maybe if you're playing well. So when we got knocked out in the first round, we were disappointed, but we were knocked out by a pretty good team that's usually in the semis and finals. So
yeah. And lucky for us as snipers, a next gen team kind of folded, team players kind of scattered, and Whitey was able to join the snipers for us, which was huge for our team. And then 2016, 17, and 18, he wasn't able to play last year because of ice hockey. But the next 3 years, we won the gold medal in 17 with a pretty stacked team in Michigan. Overall with Matt on our team, we've been 16-3 overall. And Matt, in the Pama Pro division in 4 years, 31 games played, 36 goals scored, 16 assists, 52 points. Pretty impressive for the top pro division in the sport. And here's a pretty cool goal you scored in that first year against Alkali in the round robin game against them.
Matt White starts back. White comes in. White fires, scores!
So other than the backhand, Whitey's got that quick release, and that's your other favorite spot, I would think, coming down that right wing and then just picking the corner.
Yeah, like I said, I've been working on that, especially with ice hockey, is trying those, quick release shots, trying to catch the goalie by surprise from where I'm gonna shoot it from, and because goalies are so good now that when they know you're gonna shoot it, and playing those guys, so many times, they know kind of your tendencies and stuff like that. So you got to figure out a way to try to surprise the goalie at any point, and that's what I've been working on.
We have another video here. So a pretty wild game. We had this posted the other day. Actually, no, we haven't showed it yet. This will be in the top 5 of our all-time Pama Pro games in our countdown. So in 2000 and what year was it? 2016. The Snipers played the Pama, the beta team in the semifinals. And it was, in my opinion, not just because we wound up winning the game, but to me, it was one of the greatest roller hockey games I've ever been a part of. We were down early 4-1. It was a back and forth game. Here it is at 6-6, going to over. We're in overtime now. This is a go to the championship game. And just let's check out the video here.
One man back. Matt White in over the line, fires one over top of the net. Matt White plays it now back into his own end for PJ Kavaya. Kavaya off the boards to Greg Thompson. Thompson looking in front, has a man wide open. Sigmund backhand, great save, rebound, scores!
Now, I think what gets lost in that goal, not just because he's on here with us, Whitey, but Thompson made an incredible pass to Siggy there for that breakaway. And then Siggy got stopped, and just like great goal scorers, you went to the net, weren't just watching the play, and pretty much had an empty net there to bury the winner.
Yeah, I was after I shot the puck, like I was obviously it was a 1-on-1, but so I didn't see Siggy at all. And then so when Thompson made that original pass, I kind of, you see me like turn because I thought I didn't know what he was doing, to be honest. I didn't see Siggy.
Greg giving the puck up again.
So I didn't see Siggy back there, but then when I turned and I saw Siggy get a breakaway, I was kind of skating a little half speed, but I knew like I beat my guy a little bit because I thought, Siggy gets in those situations 9 times out of 10, he's scoring. So I originally thought he scored, but the goalie made such a good save and it was laying there, luckily, just waiting for me.
We talk to kids all the time about, all great goal scorers have the same things in common. They know where to go to score. And the other day, we had Travis Snow on last week or 2 weeks ago, who is another great goal scorer like yourself. And he had a goal against the Roadrunners where he got stopped and wheeled around and could have just ended the play, but he went back into the high slot and Junior wound up hitting him for a goal. And we talked about the same thing about just staying with it, knowing where to go, looking for pucks. And obviously you have that tremendous knack for the net. And it was just evident in that goal if you don't go to the net there, it just winds up being a great save by the goalie. They clear the puck and we keep going.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think with roller hockey, obviously I still have a hard time, you do the big loop, especially, not stopping where you need to be. In ice, it's a little easier. But I think, it also, I am fortunate enough to play with, great guys that have that vision that, can find me in those areas, even if I'm not, in the slot in a prime time area. I can, find a soft area maybe on the other side of the rink and be away from everyone. And the guys are so good at passing the puck now that it kind of, just wait there. And especially if it gets in my area, I can shoot the puck and if I hit the net, there's a better chance. So I think the credit goes a lot to the guys making those passes and the vision they have.
And if you notice, Whitey, every picture we've showed of him, his head's always up with the puck. Just a good lesson there for everyone watching. Head's always up, looking for a play. besides the Pama Pro division, the biggest thing I think of when I think of you and your inline hockey career is representing your country in Team USA. And you've done that, 4 different times, starting in 2013, playing at the IHF tournament. You got to play in Germany in 13, Czech Republic in 14, Finland in 15, and then Slovakia in 17, winning 2 gold medals and a bronze in those 4 years. One of them we shared together in 2017, which was a great experience to be able to be part of that in Slovakia after not winning for a couple of years. There's Matt winning the player of the game USA hat. Each team does after the game. Matt not only won 2 gold medals, but he won 2 best forward of the tournament awards in 2 of those 4 years there. And in 23 games played for Team USA, has 29 goals, 24 assists for 53 points as a Team USA player. Just speak for a minute, Matt, about obviously just the honor of representing your country.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, it's the best honor I've had in the sport of hockey. The big thing was, just being invited to those camps wherever they had them. For me, it was in Colorado to start, and going to Colorado and having those training camps, you knew kind of what to expect because of the lineup and playing against those guys so much. So you knew it was going to be so hard to make, and you're doing, 2 practices a day, and anyone can make those teams, to be honest. So, I mean, going in there, you can't really expect you're going to make it. You got to battle for, all your positions wherever you may fall. And even if you don't get picked, you understand that the players that did get picked are still, the best players on their team and in their area. So you can't be upset about anything.
And so that last year in 2017, we played Finland in the gold medal game. And like we had said, it had been a few years. Matt won in 2013. So you win that first year, you probably think, oh, we're going to win every year. And then you go a couple of years without winning. It's got to be really frustrating. And here's Matt scoring a goal in the gold medal game against Finland in a battle with another probably top 2 or 3 best team in the world.
Bravo.
So once again, Greg, going to that patented backhand, but you can see just that separation Whitey has, Greg, from getting away from the defender is pretty impressive.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, Whitey. How you're so good at not only skating, but skating with the puck and just exploding away from people. Tim mentioned a play. He thinks it was during one of the Pama games, right, Tim, where you were skating
Atlanta with Norwich.
Atlanta, yeah, and you were skating backwards, away from the play. You were expecting a pass like off the boards or something, and it kind of slowly getting to you. And their D-man, I think it was Junior defending you, was stepping up, and you last second kind of lifted a stick backwards, and you got the puck and went down and scored right after that play. So pretty talented, I would say.
No, thanks, guys.
No big. Yeah, no, I mean, he's obviously, the talent level, you could just see it on every play. And there he is in Slovakia with some of the teammates from the Snipers. Yeah, I mean, the separation, I think every aspect of the game, you talk to players, I think the most impressive thing to say about Matt is everyone we've had on this podcast every week will always, one of the questions we ask is, best player you ever played with? When you watch the Pama Pro, who would you buy a ticket to watch play? Who impresses you the most? And I'd say Matt White has been the overall answer to most people. So when your own, not only your teammates, but the people you play against every tournament say that, it's just a credit to this guy's talent level when the best of the best are pointing at him as one of the best players in the game.
For sure. Yeah, I appreciate that from all my peers on, especially other teams and stuff like that, because there are so many great players. There's arguments over the Crafts, the Noahs, the Cadiz and stuff like that. And that's what's so exciting about the tournaments, is because once you get in, a Narch or a State Wars type of environment where it's, those tournaments are the bragging rights for the rest of the summer. You got to bring your A game, and you want to produce for your team to win that, so you can have that year's worth of bragging rights. And and then it just, starts over the next year. So, I mean, there's so many great players that, one tournament, it's this guy has a big tournament, the next tournament, it's another guy. So you never know. It's pretty exciting.
So let me put you on the spot with that question. So when you've played all these years in the Pama Pro division, who's a player that stands out to you, not from your own team, but playing against, that you just once in a while you catch up going, wow, that guy's pretty impressive. I could watch this guy play all day. Who would be that player to you in the Pama Pro division?
For me, it's always been, I grew up with Travis Noah and saw him develop, from, growing 4.5 feet. And where his game's gone. So, he's always had that skill, and he's so exciting to watch. He's one of my favorite players, but I mean, everyone picks Tino. So I'm going to have to go with one of my favorite guys, and one of my really good friends, Junior Cadiz. That guy does some amazing stuff, when he's 5 feet around the net, just going through his legs, going through defenders' legs, and then goes around the goalie and makes it look so easy. So I'd say Junior.
Awesome. Yeah, Junior's a great player, and player we had last year in Barcelona, who was just another great guy, great player on and off the ice. So we're going to do some speed round questions for you, Whitey, here. So, and I, of course, being around you enough, I know the answer to some of these, but most people don't. So we'll throw them out to you. Are you more of a beer or wine guy?
I don't know too much about wine. So, I mean, I love it, but I would have to say beer.
Okay. Are you more of a winter or summer?
Summer for sure.
Okay, coming from California, no surprise.
Yeah.
Call or text?
I would say right now I'm more of a text guy.
Okay. Drinking water, cold or room temperature?
I just recently started room temperature, but it's hard to knock me off the freezing cold water.
Mac or PC?
Mac.
If you're on an airplane, do you recline your seat? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. Soup or salad?
Depends on what kind of soup, but I'll eat salad all the time. So it depends on what kind of soup.
Okay. Germany or Russia?
Germany. No question about that.
Youngblood or Miracle?
I'm gonna go with Youngblood. That's one of my top 5 movies.
Okay. Best locker room guy you've ever played with?
That's so tough. Oh geez. I would have to say. I would have to say. I mean, I would have to say there's a tie between, just because I played with Ketz on USA teams, and off the rink, that guy is just so funny.
Yeah. That's who Tino picked the other day. He said Ketz.
Yeah, he's just so hard to beat, just because he doesn't care on, like being serious or anything, and he's so good at hockey that it doesn't affect him at all. So I would say, actually, there's no tie. I'd probably say Ketz, just from USA and those experiences.
So who was your second pick? Who are you going to go with?
I would say probably Crazy.
I can see that. The last one, California or Nebraska?
California for sure.
Okay. So I gotta tell everyone. So Matt's getting married this summer. So his wedding, unfortunately, like a lot of people, had gotten postponed because of all this craziness going on. And I got to give you credit, when I saw the date change, he did such a funny, unique thing. They had a Corona bottle and a twist on the date and all this stuff. And my wife was so impressed on how witty it was. So was that your call on that, or was that your wife, or who made that call?
Yeah, it's definitely my wife. She's the creative one. So she had a couple of funny options, but I felt that one was the best one. So she let me help a little bit, but she did all the creativity and stuff.
Yeah, I figured that was her, but yeah, that was pretty awesome. I love that.
Whitey, I got one question for you. Did you get a lollipop with that haircut, or what?
Oh yeah. Hey, this is a quarantine haircut.
Pretty good.
Your future father-in-law cut your hair for you?
No, actually, my fiance's uncle, he used to cut hair in the Navy, so he came over and buzzed us up pretty good, and it was about 2-3 weeks ago, so I needed it bad.
It's looking good though.
I need that. You might have to send him to New York for me.
Oh yeah, I'll do it.
right, Greg, any final questions from our man here?
No, I mean, like, just obviously you played everywhere and you played roller ice hockey. What ice hockey player, like, have you been like really, really most impressed with, like just playing with? Not against, just with.
Playing with. Playing with, I would have to say it was probably in Milwaukee, probably playing with like Fiala and Pontus Aberg.
How is
but
Ribeiro?
that guy's he's on a new level. That guy's so good. It's the same thing, effortless to how the game comes to that guy. And when I played with him, he was, so down to earth and had such a good positive attitude on where he was. So nothing but good things to say about him. But Fiala, that guy's skill level is pretty crazy. And Aberg, those guys, it's watching those guys play live and especially being on the ice with those guys, being on the same line, you kind of sometimes just give the guy the puck in the offensive zone and watch him do some crazy stick handling moves and then score, and then you get an easy assist or something like that. So it's pretty amazing.
It's amazing to think about it, Greg. Now here's a guy, and we watch Whitey do stuff, and I know me as a coach, I just marvel at it. So when he's marveling at someone else, that's pretty impressive stuff, because we know how skilled he is. So I guess my question with that is following up with Greg. I mentioned to Steve Oleski when he was on that I had a friend that played with the Penguins, and he had said that the most impressive thing he ever saw Mario Lemieux do was at practice. They were doing a corner drill or whatnot, and Mario was just standing in the corner, and someone took a slap shot around the boards, around the glass, all the way around, and the puck came flying around, and he just stood there almost like a lacrosse stick and just caught it off the glass and put it back down on the dot like it was nothing. And he said he just shook his head and was like, I can't believe what I just saw there. And to Mario was just like, flicking a puck up and catching on a stick. So what's something that you've seen that you just shook your head and maybe say, because I know Steve mentioned, I think Oshie's warm up or whatever. So what's something that you've seen that you're like, wow?
I would have to say, I playing against Datsyuk is pretty funny. He just bats every puck out of the air. He'll juggle it a couple times before he puts it on the ice to stick handle around you. So playing against him was pretty awesome. And luckily I didn't have to be on the ice against him too many times and get that minus. But there's another guy in that I played with in Germany. He played at North Dakota as well. And I don't know if you saw this video when this was probably 6-7 years ago in college hockey when he was in North Dakota, but he picked it up like it was a lacrosse ball, and he was like going down the ice with a puck on his stick. And I played with him in Germany, and in practice around the net, he would do crazy stuff like that, like get in tight, and instead of like taking an awkward shot where it'd just be like a little flick, he would like pick it up somehow and like throw it on the other side of the net. It was pretty amazing to watch, just because you never knew what he was going to do around the net.
Kind of like a Robbie Shrimp type.
Exactly.
Type deal,
yeah.
Now, the last thing I got for you before I let you go is I know you're really into architecture and seeing things around the world and churches and checking out, Whitey's really into all that kind of stuff. So out of all the places you've traveled in the world for hockey, and you've been everywhere, what's something that stands out in your head is something that's just so amazing and magnificent to see that you say to people like, hey, before you die, you got to see this? What would that be for you?
That like traveling wall hockey. I mean, there's places in Germany that have like pretty amazing like cathedrals and stuff. Like Cologne, they have I think it's the third tallest cathedral in the world. But I mean, the two places that I've been to, not from hockey, is Barcelona and Rome. And I think Rome's my favorite by far, just seeing all the history, because I'm a big history guy, and seeing all the stuff that was built, especially at that time period. To me, it doesn't seem real how people could build that in that time with that technology they had.
Yeah, no, we were in Barcelona last year. We checked out some stuff, and it was just amazing. Some of the churches and whatnot, just incredible. But
yeah, it's definitely amazing. I don't know how they do it.
Especially back then, right?
Oh, yeah.
As you think about the pyramids and things like that, you're like, how the hell were these things built?
Yeah, exactly.
But also, Mike, we won't keep you anymore today. We really appreciate your time. We hopefully will see you real soon. We're hoping at State Wars in Michigan to see you this summer with the Snipers, and obviously, wish you luck with everything with your wedding, everything, all this crazy stuff going on this summer for you. But we really appreciate all that you're doing for the sport, and just definitely keep up the good work on the ice and on the wheels.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for calling me, guys. And hope to see you guys soon as well. Hopefully this all clears up and we can get to playing some roller hockey and have some fun.
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure.
All right,
Thanks,
brother.
White
We'll
Man.
see you soon.
Okay, sounds good.
All right,
Bye.
later, Whitey.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was Matt White, Mission Snipers. Just, one of the best in the business, GT.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people don't realize, how good of a player he is, and actually how far he's gone with the sport. But also, I never realized how interested he was in different cities and visiting different coliseums and churches and stuff like that. I never realized that. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, we went to Midwest Wars a few years ago in Michigan. We picked him up at the airport, and me and him went to get lunch, and we were just talking, and it came up, and I never realized what a historian he was.
Yeah.
You think of all these guys, some knucklehead hockey player, doesn't know what's going on. He's very intelligent.
Yeah.
And we just started talking about churches and this and that, and we had like a long conversation because at that point, I think we had already been to Slovakia, but I hadn't been to Europe really at all before we went to Barcelona. So it was great hearing about all these things. And we talked about Rome a lot. So I had a feeling he was going to mention Rome.
Yeah.
But my biggest thing I took away from getting to know Matt a lot when we were in Slovakia was, as you know, when you play in IIHF, you guys get to the rink so early, and we would get to the rink 2 hours early, and just watching his preparation before every game, he's stretching 2 hours early. He's obviously worrying about what he's eating before he gets to the rink and how early he's eating, how he's retaping his stick, and he was retaping it every game, and how particular he was, how he dressed, and just that professionalism of every game. And no matter whether it was a game we should blow out a team or the hardest game of the tournament, he had the same approach every game. And I think he just learns that from all the professional hockey he's played, and it definitely is great to see. And then it kind of, when your best players are doing that, the rest of the players all kind of kick in with that as well, which is great to see.
Yeah, obviously we know him. He's a big goofball off the rink. He likes to have a good time, but once he steps into the rink and locker room, he's all game. He's getting his mind right. He, like you said, he's always taping his sticks. I mean, I haven't seen a guy tape his sticks as much as Matt White. And this is roller hockey.
Oh, yeah.
Usually ice hockey, guys are switching sticks every so often, taping sticks a couple
Right.
times a period. But Whitey, after every period, he's retaping his stick.
No, he's so into that, and
Like
you
changing his
said,
wheels, and
he definitely likes to have a good time. We didn't get into it too much with him, but he's definitely a guy that loves to hang out and have a good time. But he's one of those guys with, whether he's in bed at 7:00 at night or 7:00 in the morning and went to bed, he gets on the rink and you wouldn't know that he wasn't resting for the last 12 hours because he's a gamer. I don't think you've seen a guy who's just ready to play more than him.
yeah, I've witnessed that a couple times. The guy could play no matter what, no matter where he is or how many hours sleep he's had. He's always ready to go.
Half the team's dragging him behind and he's just motoring. So it's amazing. I don't know how he does it. As a coach, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But all right, that's Matt White, and we're gonna bring another Californian, John Siemer, up here next. So let's bring in John here. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is PJ Cavalla, the voice of State Wars Hockey, and you are watching the SWH podcast.
What's up, guys?
By Glass Half
What's up, buddy?
Productions.
How you doing?
Drink soon.
Good man. How you doing today?
Doing all right. Just made myself a little breakfast, hanging out with the pets.
Another beautiful day in California.
Oh, I think it's about to be 80 today, so yeah,
Wow.
can't wait.
Yeah, we actually had some sun the last couple days here. We got up to, I think, 70 degrees, which was a big deal here the last couple days. So looking forward to some warmer weather, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to just get summer on with.
So we just had Matt White on, another Californian, talking about the hockey out in California and how you know, the level of play out there. It's always been a mecca for roller hockey. And you know, I know you're a little bit younger than Matt, but just talking about growing up there, starting out. He started out at a rink in Whittier, California. So talk a little bit about where you started out in California as a kid playing.
Funny story. I actually started in West Covina, but before I started there, I used to go over to my cousin's house, and he was neighbors with Zach Walters. Before hockey was even a thing for me, I just kind of wanted to do what my older cousin was doing.
Right.
And Zach actually gave me my first hockey stick when I was like, I think 4, and he was 11. And so I told my parents I wanted to play at the rink because it was right around the corner, and they didn't have enough money to play. So I wrote a letter to the newspaper. And luckily, like Brian Garland, the guy that runs West Covina, I was fortunate enough, they donated me some gear for me to play my first season. So I used my stick from Zach, and I got some free gear from the rink just so I can play my first season. So,
Awesome.
And that's kind of history's made at West Covina there for me. So
That's pretty cool. I never realized that about Zach. I didn't know you went that far back with him.
yeah, I didn't put it together until I was a little older. Like, I always knew who he was. I always thought he was cool, you know, like he's an older kid, played hockey, like him, Jerry, Joaquin, all those guys were always together, you know, so I always wanted to be like those. Sorry, my pets are all over the place. But yeah, so I just kind of put it together once we got a little older. I started playing against them a lot at West Covina. I played in adult leagues when I was like 15, I think. I got kicked out of the youth leagues. They said I wasn't able to play anymore. So I started playing adult league. But yeah, and then funny enough that we ended up playing together for my first year. It was pretty exciting for me anyways, like just looking back on all of it.
It's amazing how where you live changes everything. You know, I mentioned earlier with Whitey that I grew up in Valley Stream, Long Island, and there was a rink 3 blocks from my house, an outdoor roller hockey rink, and we played out on cement, you know, blacktop. And if I didn't live near that rink, I probably never would have played hockey. It was my parents knew nothing about hockey, never played. And I just skated by, used to walk by the rink every day. And one day I was like, Mom, I want to do that. And I started playing hockey. And I know Greg as well, you know, where he grew up in Bayport, you know, that wound up being a big roller hockey program pretty close to his house. His mom worked at the rink. He wound up playing there a ton. But if we were all born in areas where, you know, in Wyoming, let's say, you know, and there was a roller hockey rink, none of us would be on this podcast right now. So it's pretty awesome that, you know, just shows where you live affects so much in your life.
Oh, I know, right? And coming from California, nobody thinks hockey. Like I never thought I'd be a hockey player when I was little. My first sport was always baseball. I was baseball like right away. I played t-ball at like 4 years old, you know? So I was like all about baseball until I picked up that stick at 4, and I was like, okay, well, this is pretty much what I want to do. There's so much action in hockey compared to other sports. Not saying I don't like other sports, but for me, I think I'm a pretty uppity guy, and I like to be doing things all the time. So I think hockey just kind of stuck with me, and history. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're looking for action, baseball is definitely not the sport. That's for sure.
No, unless you're a pitcher or a catcher.
Yeah.
That's what I tell parents all the time. You know, if you try hockey, if a kid tries hockey, 9 times out of 10, they're going to love it. You know, very few. And I used to work at a rink, just get them in the door. And that's why I think a lot of times, to your point, what you brought up, you know, if families don't have the money for all the gear, it's an expensive sport to start. And we've always preached for years that, you know, rinks should have gear, give it for free to the kids coming in the first time, knowing that if they like it, they're going to be hooked and you're going to have them forever. But it's just getting them in the door where it's obviously easy to give a basketball to a kid or a baseball glove or a pair of sneakers to play soccer. Hockey is a big investment. And, you know, as a parent of 3, I know that the last thing you want to do is drop $800 on equipment and your kid tell you one time, I don't like that, my feet hurt, not want to play again. You wasted all that money. So, you know, getting that. And I know the Ducks and everyone does a lot of good things in California with ice hockey, with giving free gear to these programs and whatnot. And I think that's the way to go if you really want to get more kids playing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the Kings are actually starting a program too with the rinks out their way. They, I think it's like $100 and you get like full equipment. You get, I think you get to do like 6 or 8 weeks of learn to play basically, and you just show up every Monday or whatever night it is, and you come out, and then there's instructors like myself or other coaches that are at that program that kind of help them learn to skate, do stick handling, kind of just different aspects of the game that they can kind of pick up, and you find their niche and they kind of have fun with it. So
Yeah, I know the Islanders do that out here, Greg, now too. They do the whole program. New kids playing, they get full head to toe gear and whatnot. It's real cheap to join the program, and it's just smart, and they're building, future ticket buyers for their teams and fans of the team. It's all about building that fan base, right?
oh yeah, absolutely. And I think I mean Shivo probably is the one that helped start all that with him being a part of like Ricky Camp and showing off all those highlights that he was doing during the Islander stuff, and he's got a pretty big following for the young kids. So I think he probably helped a lot with that. I mean, I know you guys do a lot over there with the roller hockey world, so I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that if you guys are one of the main reasons also. So
Yeah. So speaking of ice hockey, so John, you got started, obviously started playing ice out there, and then in 2011 went to play in the British Columbia, the BCHL, played there for a few years, did really well there. And then he wound up going on to Michigan to play Northern Michigan University for 3 years. So speak for a little bit about that experience going out to Michigan, playing college hockey. Did you enjoy that part of your life?
yeah, I mean, I think I had a little bit too much fun there, but no, I definitely enjoyed it. I mean, juniors was a bagger, like it's such a battle to get to the next level and kind of get that scholarship and enjoy that kind of lifestyle, right? So I think just my time being in juniors kind of prepped me. I mean, I owe a lot to my last coach from Penticton, actually, Fred Harbinson. He prepared me a lot. I mean, I had coaches all throughout my year that let me be that offensive guy and kind of just let me be that rover and whatever. Like, I mean, I think I've grown a lot as a player. So I think college helped my defensive game, and even playing at the next level a little bit helped my defensive game too. But Northern was an absolute blast. I mean, I made a lot of friends. I met my fiance there. I mean, I can't say enough good things about it. I mean, obviously, I only played there for 3 years, but I think my time was just up there. And I mean, everything happens for a reason. So I think because I ended up winning a championship in the SP the next year that I was supposed to be a senior. So
Now I know on the wheels you're known for your speed, and your skating is I would say your biggest attribute. Is that the same on the ice? Was the skating?
definitely speed and aggressive. I wouldn't say the skating so much. I never really took skating lessons when I was younger. I just kind of try to mimic things and watch videos on guys and do stuff like that. Like I said, we didn't have as too much money when I was younger, so I didn't really have money to pay for lessons and stuff. I did all the clinics and I did that kind of stuff, but when it comes to like personal lessons and everything, I wouldn't say I'm the best on my skates, but I mean, I can maneuver and get by now because of all the stuff that I've watched and tried and just continuously worked at. So
That's awesome. So you won an SPHL championship with Macon, correct?
yeah, making mayhem.
Macon Mayhem, and you stayed in Georgia for a couple years, and now after your career of playing, you're back in California. You're coaching the Ice Dogs, right? Correct.
Correct. Yeah.
So are you like a full-time coach there? Or are you just a skills coach? What's your title there?
So when I started there, I was kind of just a skills coach. So I just was kind of getting the feel for things, kind of just nice pick, just showing like the kids who I was and just showing my face around the place just to kind of get a feel for everybody. I was fortunate enough to be gifted a Squirt B team last year. So I got to coach a head coaching job for Squirt B. And then I also helped with the Might Bees with Pat McDevitt, who's also a roller guy. So
Yeah, I know Pat.
it was cool coaching alongside Pat. He coaches his teams really well. He has a very good structure. His teams actually pass when they're young, which is an awesome thing to see. So I was fortunate enough to work alongside guys like that. And then I know like crazy. His best friend is Chris Ochoa, who's the hockey director at our rink. So it's kind of cool to have that connection too, which Chris kind of plays roller here and there too at all the local tournaments. So it's fun, kind of reminisce about it.
Yeah.
Chris is a good guy. He's played with us a couple times and like Winter Wars and whatnot. He's a good guy, Chris.
Awesome player too.
Oh yeah, he hustles too. That's the best part. He hustles.
Yep.
So different world, right? When you start coaching, as someone who's as a coach, I know that, you're a player, you always look at things as a player. And then when you start coaching, you see a whole different angle of the game, right? And then it maybe changes how you play a little bit now when you see the other side. Because, when you're at Northern, if you're not playing a lot, you're probably, you're mad at the coach. If you're here, you're mad at the coach. Everyone's, but then you start coaching, you see the other side of it. So I'm sure that's changed your mindset a little bit, right? Coaching?
Oh man, like tremendously. Like I don't know how many frustrating games I've had to watch last year, and just seeing those little mistakes and seeing the little things that I personally used to do that I'm watching these kids do. And I'm like, damn, no wonder, right? Like I got yelled at a lot, like no wonder. So it definitely helped. It helped to see it, and it's a different mindset being a coach. It's crazy. Like you can't do anything about it. Right. So for me, as like coming straight off of a season, it was so frustrating for me at first because I couldn't help. I couldn't do anything about it. And these kids are 10.
Right.
So, and they're not going to do it if they don't want to do it.
Now, how often when you coach with the Ice Dogs, how often do they practice?
Twice a week. And then we'd have a game or a tournament on the weekend.
Okay. So what's your style of coaching? Are you more of a, when the games are going on, are you more of you kind of just quiet, let them do their thing and then talk later on? Or are you kind of very vocal as they're playing, kind of, pulling the strings a little bit while they're playing out there a little bit? Or what kind of coach are you?
Well, with the B team last year, since half the kids hadn't even played hockey, half the kids were like, it was their first year. Some kids came from roller to ice. So it was like different transition. So I was very vocal. I would literally be like a puppeteer, just like, you go here, get in front of the net. Like I had to, or else these kids just pretty much didn't know. Like nobody ever taught them correctly. So it was hard for me to stay quiet and just watch them make mistakes. So I figured because I was really nice in the beginning of the season. I was just trying to feel it out. And we were like 0-6. So I was like, you know what, time to get mad. So I started getting mad and started like holding them accountable, started like getting a little angry at them in practice, started going over different things. And we got our first tie. I think we were 0-6-1. And then after Christmas, we turned it on and we won, I think, 5 games. So we ended with almost 500 we ended, but we came up a little short from playoffs, but I guess it didn't really matter because a week later COVID happened. So nobody got to play playoffs.
Yeah, Sammy, I coach an ice team and a school team, and that's what happened with us. The day of our playoff game, they canceled our first playoff game and we lost the playoffs. And I try on ice, I've tried to, I believe in trying to be quiet and let them do and not tell them every second what to do because they got to figure it out. But it's hard. Like I go into a game saying I'm not going to say anything during the game, and then I can't do that, obviously. But the problem with the school team stuff is we only practice once a week, so I don't get a lot of time with them. But I try to believe in the philosophy more of it's kind of like if you're in like the drama club, like you practice all week and then the play happens, and if you mess up, you messed up, and you gotta, you work on stuff in practice, and the game is kind of like the performance, if you would, which isn't easy. It's not easy not to tell them what to do, but I'm trying to think in my head that, all right, what's going to make them better long term, and I kind of believe in that. You got to yell them a little bit, of course, but I try not to be one of those coaches that they call it a joystick coach. That's doing every little thing for them because eventually they got to figure it out or else they're never going to be able to play on their own. Right. No. So, but it's so hard as a coach to do that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, this year I'll be coaching a little higher level. I got a couple AA teams that I'll be working with. So it'll probably be a different story when it comes to coaching. Cause these kids have been around, they've played competitively. They've been to multiple tournaments and they've seen what they need to do to win. They know how to play the defensive zone. So I feel like working with the older kids and a little bit higher level, it'll be a little easier for me to just kind of let them play. like I said, though, the 10U B kids that were just starting is like, they didn't know even what offsides was.
Right.
So it was a rough transition for me right away, but I mean, we got through it, and I kind of turned that team around, and it was a fun season for me. Anyways, it was really sad at the end when we didn't make playoffs because we were really pushing.
Yeah, definitely rewarding, right? When you see kids get better, though, that you're coaching.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, everybody say hi. She wants to be on camera so bad.
Now, do you starting to see the crazy parent side yet, or even at the Squirt B side, or is it crazy yet, or no?
Oh yeah, I mean, my parents luckily weren't bad at all. Like I had a lot of parents that were very understanding, and it was their first year too, so they kind of just sat back and kind of noticed things, you know. But some of the teams that we played against, like I had parents F-bombing our kids at 10, like they were just yelling, like threatening our kids from the stands. Like I almost had a parent fight because one of our parents was like fed up with it. It was crazy. Wow. Like I was just laughing on the bench. Like their parents would yell at me and I'd look at them and laugh. Like, what, like you see yourself right now?
Right.
You know, like
I would say the
tournament, yourself, not me.
I would say at the tournaments, we should live stream the parents, not the game, and it'd be a lot more entertaining. Parents could see themselves how ridiculous they look at times. But
yeah,
here's a funny story. I'm going to tell you the greatest coaching story ever, and you remember this for the rest of your life, and nothing you see will bother you. So I had read an article years ago that Mario Lemieux was coaching his son's team in whatever level, 16-year-olds, 14-year-olds, whatever. And during the season, he got an email from one of the parents on the team, wanted to have a one-on-one with him to discuss changes on the power play that the parent thought Mario should be making to have better success. So when I read that article and know that Mario Lemieux is dealing with some idiot parent telling him what he should be doing, then I know that I'm screwed.
Yeah, 100%. Like there's no winning. There's no winning there.
And it's funny when you have your own kids. Now I have kids playing sports, and you see the other side of it too. You see, all right, I understand why they care so much, and you maybe are a little more sympathetic with parents about their kids, and building the confidence in all these kids and whatnot. But you also learn that, like for me, I don't say a word to any coach knowing that I wouldn't want someone bothering me. So you learn like to be a better sports parent,
No, 100%.
But all right, so after all that ice hockey we've talked about, in 2015, before the Pama Pro division, you would come out to State Wars, and I think it was 2013 was your first year. This is you here playing with California when we had our elite division. Before it was pro, and it was by state rules and whatnot. And you played here with the Cali guys in I think it was in Chicago that year, 2013 at State Wars. Do you remember that year? Do you remember your first year coming out playing with California?
Yeah, too well actually. It's my fault that we lost against St. Louis.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I made a terrible play on the wall, and Garshi picked me, went down, and just sniped one for the winner. It was a rough one. I think I broke that helmet that I was wearing right there.
What happens when you play against a teammate? He knows your moves and what you're doing and whatnot. So
actually, he's been my line mate for years, So I was like, this guy just he had my number, and it was a bad showing for my first year.
Well, you did well statistically that year. And here's a picture. I don't know if you remember this. We did our elite all-star game. And then we had a lot of kids come out and whatnot. And here's a pretty good shot of the whole group from that All-Star game.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I'm right there next to Spees.
Yep. Yeah.
It was that Pat Lee too?
Yeah, Pat Lee without his jersey on, of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think he gave it to one of the kids.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Respect, Pat.
That's a good group right there.
Yeah, it is.
It's funny.
Back when it was by the state, I think it was the same competitiveness when it was state to state. I know that the pro division is elite and it's probably one of the best around, but I think back then, every state that we had, like Illinois and Michigan and California and Wisconsin and whatever else, like all these players they're unreal. Like, it doesn't matter where you're coming from. These guys they bleed die for the sport. So it's like back then I thought I kind of like, I don't know, I was really young too. So I just kind of held it to a different standard.
Yeah, no, it was always awesome to see, especially Missouri always did really well in that division. And then, you continue that route, the elite division in 2014, you guys played again. And then 2015, the Pama Pro division was created. And here this first year, you've been playing with Palmer every year in the Pama Pro division. Here's a good shot of the blue jerseys, the old LA Dodger look you guys had that year.
Yeah, those might have been my favorite jerseys that we had.
Yeah, I like those too.
Those were fun. Those were cool. I really like those. I actually gave away those jerseys and pants to our stick boy after the game.
Cool.
So I don't even have those anymore, but.
Well, in 2018, we have a video here of you, in the quarterfinals, you guys played against Alkali. And that was the same year we had gotten beat by the Border Cats on the other rink. And you guys were on rink 2 playing against Alkali. And your game went to overtime. And you got a great shot of you here scoring the game winner in an amazing game. Here it is, 3-3, Levada Pama Golden Knights against Alkali RPD in overtime.
Yeah, that was a good one. I mean, luckily, I actually got my shot blocked by Kettler.
Yeah.
I was just lucky enough to bounce right back to me in the slot, and I just kept going to the net and just tried to get a shot on net because I knew Zach Lane already went down on the other side because he thought I was shooting.
Yep.
So, I mean, I did shoot, but it got blocked, luckily. So, but I mean, that was a hell of a game. I remember trying to guard Alex Kyle the whole freaking game, and it was ridiculous. He was all over the place. He was going in between his legs, around people. Like, I think he turned me inside out twice and had even a breakaway at the end of the game. And just we got lucky and he didn't score. Something happened, I remember, and it was just kind of like a sigh of relief. And then we just had that kind of a little bit of puck possession there and got a nice shot and a little rebound there. So.
Yeah, it's a good division when the quarterfinal game, it's a Pama versus Alkali game going overtime. Yeah. That's when it's tough when your quarterfinal matchups are like that. And you can see from the celebration, just to get through one game in the Pama Pro division is difficult. So you could see, even Rob ran out on the floor there or whatnot. So you might have thought that was a winning the tournament celebration right there. It was just a quarterfinal. So definitely a tough division. And since 2015 when the division started, you've played in 27 games in the Pama Pro division, scored 13 goals, 9 assists for 22 points. Not too shabby. And Pama has an overall record of 16, 10, and 2, counting the playoffs. Done really well in the round robin, 13, 5, and 2, and then 3 and 5 in the playoffs. Last few years, getting through the quarters, losing in the semifinals. Last year, the Black Ice. Right, yeah, you can see the look on you.
Too many losses in the playoffs right there.
Yeah, last year you guys, had that crazy game with the Roadrunners. You won in overtime. That Tino scored the winner. Then you guys lost to Black Ice 4-3 in a great game in the semifinal. And the year before, you had that 4-3 win over Alkali, but then you lost 4-1 to Rinkrat, who went on to win it. And the year before, you had beat the Border Cats, but then lost to the Snipers 5-3 in the semis, and they went on to win it. So. You guys are obviously right there. What do you think in your mind? What's been the missing ingredient? I know this year we've added Eton to the team. You guys look poised to be as strong as ever this year. You think, hopefully, God willing and stuff, this could be the year to win this division? What are you feeling for Pama?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, playing in these tournaments and playing in this division, you want to win every one. I think this year with the additions that we've made, I think that we have a very good shot. And I mean, no game's easy, like you said. So it doesn't matter who we play, as long as we're kind of playing our game. I think we'll be fine. If we stoop down to other teams' levels, that's kind of what been our downfall. We kind of get caught watching sometimes, right. And I mean, if we don't do that and we stay on top of it and we're playing that man to man and we like we're just firing the puck when we can, we're not trying to do a little too much. I don't see it being an issue of making it all the way to the finals for sure.
Yeah, and then even a couple of years ago, when you were down in Georgia, we had you playing in our Southeast tournament down there, and I know you won MVP of the senior division down there.
Yeah.
So here's a good shot of you coming up here with the MVP.
Oh, geez.
Look at
Don't
those.
mind the hair.
Yeah, look at that hair.
Hey, that was when I still had all of it. Now I'm
Trepty in the
parting
group.
the seas up here. Parting the seas up here.
We're on the same boat.
Yeah, so we got one more video from last year as well. This was a game against Alkali.
Yeah, if you didn't know, all those guys we all grew up playing against each other all our lives. So this is probably why I have a lot of highlights against them.
I'll get it out high to Olinger. Now to Travis, no. Retreats back to the red line for Cadiz. Now to no. No fakes the shot and finds Cadiz. Sent in front, gets to the back door. Siemer shoots and scores.
Yeah, that was 5-on-4 there. So it might have been a pull goalie for a delayed power play there, I think.
Yeah, that's all Junior's pass. I think he went through, and I think he went over one stick, under another one, just to get to me.
It actually hit off of Burnett's stick. I guess it was a pretty hard pass, and his stick fell, exploded, and it got to you, and you got the puck out off a broken play and buried. So that was really nice.
No, like I said, Junior down low is unreal. Like, you never know if he's going to go short side or he was going to do a no look pass across back door and the goalie's going to be out and about. Like Junior's vision is ridiculous down there.
Yeah, that's a deadly combo out there between you two down low, and then you had Travis and Oli, I think, and I forgot who was the bumper there, but it's pretty deadly.
Yeah, it was. I think that may have been my one of 3 times on the power play.
It worked out well.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, besides playing in the pro divisions at an Arch or a State Wars or a Tours or whatnot, in 2014 you had the ultimate honor of representing your country. Played for Team USA that year in the Czech Republic. You guys took home a bronze medal that year. Obviously, it's not the medal you wanted, but you'll take it. Defeating Sweden that year. You had a goal and assist in that bronze medal game. Just speak for a minute about the experience of representing your country and getting to play for Team USA.
It was the highest honor. I mean, I couldn't say anything else good about that. Tom's was actually my captain when we went.
And line mate.
And yeah. Oh yeah. And my goal that I got during that, the only goal I got was during that quarterfinal right there. That's why I was so pumped. It was my only goal of the tourney.
Yeah, with PJ Cavalla there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And everybody on that team was good guys. Everybody wanted to better each other. Everybody wanted you to do your job right, and they held you accountable, which was really cool to see, especially coming from just being on my own page. In college, everybody's on the same team, but you're kind of looking out for yourself just because you want to get to that next level.
Right.
And so going to the roller hockey family for this high of stakes was it was very honoring for me. And it I still have my gloves, my sticks. I still have all of it, and I'll probably have it forever. So.
Yeah, Matt White, who we just had on, we had mentioned he won the best forward of the tournament that year in 2014. So he had a really good year that year as well.
Rightfully so. That guy scores at will. Oh, look at Tomps.
There he is.
That's a good photo. Yeah, I remember that one.
That's a good one. It's
kind of cool. I know when we were there in IHF in 2017, I've told our viewers before, it's pretty awesome just hearing your anthem after a win, even if it's a round robin game. Looking up, seeing the flags, where position you're at and stuff like that coming into the tournament. Just pretty special. And at IHF, they always made you feel like a professional, definitely, for that week you were there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing that I really enjoyed was the crowd and the spirit of the whole tournament. It didn't matter if you were losing, didn't matter if there was 100 or 1,000 fans in there. They were going to be the loudest fans that you could ask for, you know, and it just made you feel like it was something really special, and it was cool to be a part of that.
Did you like the Czech Republic?
Yeah, from what I saw, we didn't really have a car or anything. We just kind of ran around, and I was kind of scared. I was young too, so I didn't really know like what it was about. I had a GoPro on a hockey stick that I brought with me that I just carried around everywhere just in case, because I would walk around by myself all the time, so I didn't know.
Yeah, we ended up taking the train to Prague one day.
Yeah,
on our off day, so that was pretty cool as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we got our we got like those fish pedicures where they eat all the those were cool. We just checked out all the like the crazy churches and everything else down there. That place is really, really cool to go visit if you can. I mean, that was probably that's the only place I've been overseas, so I'm always looking to go other places.
Yeah. I remember we went down to the St. Charles Bridge over there. That was pretty beautiful. And
they had a bunch of art and stuff along that bridge when we were walking through. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then the neighborhood on the other side.
Yeah. Such a great city, though.
Yeah, awesome. No, it was super fun. I definitely had a great time there.
Now, I'm like you, John. You know, I hadn't been to Europe or overseas until Slovakia in 2017, and then I was in Barcelona last summer, which was an amazing city. But, you know, I'm a lot older than you, and I hadn't been to Europe. It's just amazing when you go over there how different it is, and just how old the countries are and the architecture and whatnot. And it really makes you appreciate it when you walk around. It's just so different than here. Just definitely an amazing experience. But, you know, so besides that, you know, right now, I know we see a lot on Instagram. You know, you have your Cali street hockey going on now. Talk to us a little bit about what you got going on there. It's pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah, so me and Ethan were just kind of chilling out one day, and we were just like thinking like we should start something like we had back in the day. We had Dangle Productions, you know, like I think those have been around the roller world. Everybody kind of knows we had Dangle Productions with Luke back like I think 2017, 2016, or I mean 2007, sorry, long time ago, 2007, 2008. And yeah, no, we just kind of thinking like we did it before it was relevant, you know, like, so we're like, if we could do it then, we had success, like we might as well bring up something now, especially since roller hockey needs that little umph, you know, it needs something to just kind of bring more attention. And I mean, unfortunately everything kind of stopped and the world stopped, but we're just trying to show people that, I mean, it doesn't matter where you're at, you can really play hockey wherever, you know. I mean, if you have the will and it's something that you love to do, you're able to play anywhere, really.
Yeah, no, Greg's got a pretty cool clip here of something you guys did recently. And after watching this, I want to know how many takes you had to do on this one. If you wound up with any concussions after watching this, because it's pretty impressive.
Way up, when let them hoes wanna kick it, then I'ma have to hang up. Yeah, cause she calling my name. You calling that luck, but I'm calling that game. If she push up on the rocket, watch it harder like James. Got me cheesing cause I'm picturing
I think you guys can see that it's really possible to play anywhere. I mean, this blacktop isn't the best, but I think with the green biscuit, just open blacktop, it's just like playing beach hockey.
So is that one take or what?
No, we only got 20 minutes there. The security guard was really super cool. Usually they don't even let you come into the parking lot. So we found like a little area where we were able to get in, and we set up. We were just about to set up, and the security guard came by, and we kind of explained what we were doing and just showing it's only us. Like, we're just going to be skating around. And he's like, all right, I'll give you 20 minutes. He kind of extended it a little bit. He gave us like 30, 40 minutes. And then he like gave us the gotta go, you know? Okay. So, I mean, we got as much as we could there, but there wasn't that many takes during that. I mean, maybe like 5 or 6.
That's pretty awesome stuff. Great job with that.
Yeah, Ethan is a hell of an editor. That guy is all over the videos and does it really well. So
yeah, he does a good job too.
What other cool places have you guys gone to? And you know, obviously I've seen all the videos, but what could you share with the viewers that are watching now? Like where they should look to like subscribe to your channel and maybe like check out some of your other videos.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Everybody should go on our YouTube page, just Cali Street Hockey. Like, subscribe, do all the good stuff, share it with your friends. We've been to like Newport Beach. We go to Angel Stadium. We did a couple we did a workout one with one of my childhood best buddies. We also did a martial arts one, kind of little tips and tricks on hockey fighting, kind of with another one of my buddies I went to school with since like the 6th grade. And he does his stuff like AC Combats on Instagram. Yeah, basically we're just kind of trying to find those epic spots that you're able to do it. Like, I mean, Angel Stadium, we weren't technically allowed to do it, but I mean, if you have the right personality and you're just not upfront and like demanding and you don't act like rude or anything, I think people understand and they're like, okay, like this is acceptable. Like, well, we won't bother you for a little bit, but other than that, I think it's been a really fun time. I have a blast shooting these every week.
That's cool. Now, do you guys have one prepared for next week yet, or can
Not
you give
yet.
the viewers a little hints or what?
No hints.
Okay.
No
You
hints.
gotta check it out. You gotta check it out.
Yeah,
I know.
Gotta subscribe. Gotta check it out on YouTube and Instagram. They'll be on both. Cali Street Hockey.
John, we've been talking about the last few weeks on this podcast how the one positive up during this quarantine on the inline side is people are buying skates like crazy and wheels. I know talking to buddies at Pure Hockey and Hockey Monkey and Tron and all different places, talking to LaBeta guys, talking to Conix the other day. Everyone has just been selling like hotcakes. Toilet paper and inline skates have been the two hot items this quarantine.
Yeah.
So that's been a great thing. So, stuff that you guys got going on, I think a lot of these kids that are just used to being on the ice 7 days a week, they're learning now that, hey, I can get a good workout and work on my skills, on the cement and not have to be on the ice every day. And hopefully it's been eye-opening to a lot of people that they have an other alternative without having to spend millions of dollars a year on ice time.
Yeah. No, like I saw George Collins actually tweeted something and Roller Dad kind of posted it on Instagram, and I saw it, and it's true. I mean, it's very unfortunate times, but it couldn't be more like it couldn't be a better thing for roller hockey right now because NHL guys, ice players, like I get hit up every single day. What are the best wheels? What are the best skates? What should I wear? Like every day I'm getting something, and it's awesome. Like I haven't had this much communication about roller hockey in a long time, especially from old ice friends, guys that'll just hit me up that I played with like 6 years ago, 5 years ago. Like it's crazy the amount of people that are just trying to get active and be out there on their skates. So it's cool.
Nick Boyarski from Conix said the other day they sold 6 months supply of wheels in a month. So it's just
I believe it.
They're doing great. I know Sean Riley had mentioned from Mission that the Edmonton Oilers had bought skates and wheels for the whole team.
That's sweet.
We saw Tyler Sagan on and a lot of different NHL players on their skates. So it's great. I'm hoping we retain some of these players, obviously. But it's just been great. I know I've skated around my neighborhood a bunch of times, and I haven't done that in probably over 20 years, honestly, just putting on my skates, skating around the streets, so it's been pretty fun.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've been skating around my whole neighborhood probably at least once or twice a week, just getting out there, skating around, walking the dog, like hanging out with the fiance, just doing something to stay outside and kind of do I'm still distancing, but I'm just ripping around, checking out the neighborhoods, checking out all the views around where I live. So
well, you live in the perfect area for that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do some questions with you. I want to do some questions with you, some speed round stuff. Just throw out an answer what comes to you. I want to get our viewers to know a little bit more about you, even away from hockey and whatnot. What's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie would have to be Superbad.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Favorite food?
I'd say my favorite food. I'll just go Mexican food.
Okay. Get a lot of good of that in California.
Oh, the best.
Are you more of a burrito or a taco guy?
You can't do that to me. I like them both.
Call or text?
If I need the information like now, I'm definitely calling. I'm not waiting on a text, but I'm more of a just text to kind of confirmed guy.
Okay. Mac or PC?
Mac for sure.
Steak or chicken?
Steak.
Star Wars fan?
Yeah, I actually just watched the new one last night.
What'd you think of it?
Well, it was great until like the last 20 minutes. I kind of passed out.
So it wasn't that good.
It's long.
It's just like newer. It's not like this. It's just different.
Yeah. So you like the old ones better?
I like the old ones a lot better. Yeah, even though it's like worse on the eyes and the everything like that, like CGI and all that stuff. It's okay, but I definitely like the old ones better.
Deep dish or New York style pizza?
Oh, New York style for sure.
You got to say that, Greg. We're on here with him, right?
Yeah, I already knew better.
California or Michigan?
Oh, California. Silly question.
Playing or coaching?
I like playing for sure.
Who's the best locker room guy you've ever played with?
Best locker room guy. You know, I wouldn't say he's the best, but one that just stuck out to me, just like because I only played with him for one tournament, was Daniel Brabeck came in and he was like an unreal locker room guy for just being around, you know. But Blake Rayfield is the best locker room guy for sure. He's always up. He lifts your spirits. He's always helping you out somehow. He knows he doesn't play every game, you know, so it's hard for him, but he's the most positive and like he's always there just to help you out if you need anything. So I definitely say Blake Rayfield when it comes to that.
Like that.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you got to respect it. He's a young kid and he's pretty good. He's coming up, you know, so I think he for sure is like one of those guys.
How about Dickie Lane?
Well, Dickie Lane is the given. Dickie Lane's just the man. That guy does everything for us. Everybody gives Dickie a hard time, but I love that guy. He always helps out. He does the right thing, you know. He's always hanging with the boys when he wants, you know. It's cool.
Shout out Dickie Lane.
Shout out Dickie Lane, my boy.
So now, out of all the players you play against in the Pama Pro or Narch Pro division, not counting anyone you play with, who's the player that you look at and just impresses you the most, or someone that if you're playing against, you got to go, oh, please, I don't want to have to cover this guy. Like, who's that guy for you in the sport that you go, oh, man, like, this guy's incredible. Who's that guy to you right now in the game?
I'd have to say, if Brandon Hawkins gets the puck, you know it's going in the net. So that's one guy that I don't like playing against. But I mean,
you don't want to block his shot either, right?
Oh, I mean, you can try. Might just go through
That's
you.
for your flamingo.
Yeah, exactly.
Flamingo on
might
his
just
shot.
go through you. But I'd say like overall and all-around player, I'd say Alex Kyle is pretty dynamic. He is, awesome. He can. I mean, obviously Matty White and Tino and those guys are the top guys in our league, but I think Alex Kyle these last couple of years has kind of just came out of nowhere really and just kind of just took over because he was mainly ice for a long time.
Yeah.
So I think
excitement a little bit and.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think him for sure right now, he's definitely one of those guys.
Okay. Great. You got a couple questions?
Yeah. So are you an in-and-out guy?
Oh, yeah. That's my favorite.
Oh, so I won't even ask you Shake Shack or In-N-Out.
In-N-Out, strawberry shake over Shake Shack, anything.
Wow. All right. So
yeah, I'm very biased. Very biased.
So you've been like on a lot of road trips, especially playing in the Southern League. What kind of what's your favorite city you've been to? I guess in the States. We'll do it like that. In the States.
Probably Nashville. We would take a bus trip from Macon, Georgia to Peoria, Illinois. And since our bus driver, we only had one bus driver, you're not allowed to drive 8 hours. Yep. So we would drive all the way from Georgia to Nashville, and then we'd stay there for 8 hours.
Spot to stop, by the way.
Yeah, perfect spot. So like we'd stay there for 8 hours, and we would just go have a blast for those 8 hours, depending on what time we got there, and then we'd all hop back on the bus and then show up to Peoria the next day. So I think that was definitely one of the best cities I've been to traveling for sure.
Now you play with some roller guys on your team. You had, I saw Nick Minerva, who's a long-time roller player who Tim and I actually both coached when he was a kid.
He was like 6.
Yeah, he actually came into our team last year just like super aggressive. He loves to talk, and I love the kid to death. And so like that was like my job all year, was to just like calm him down. And
then big wars with you guys last year. Remember, he came out.
Yeah, I actually drove him down from Georgia to Illinois with me. We did a road trip together. I really like that kid. He's awesome. I talk to him still like every week. So.
And Calgary was on that team too, wasn't he, Vinny?
A little bit,
yeah,
right?
Vinny's the man too. That guy, he's been through a bunch of crap in the ice world, and his attitude is always positive. So he's
coaching
awesome
now too, right? I think he's doing some coaching.
Yeah, I think he does higher level though. I think he does tier or something.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know he was posting about something actually a couple weeks ago. I saw it. Maybe he was just like posting like missing the game or something.
Yeah. Any other roller guys play down there with you?
No, I don't think so. There's like guys from California that I played with that have like played when they're younger and stuff, like Jeff Sanders and Daniel Gensler, and they just like kind of messed around. They never really played though.
Now, John, one of the reasons we bring up ice hockey a lot, and we spend a lot of time with Whitey talking about ice hockey with you, is just for a lot of our viewers out there. We get a lot of, with our events, we have so many kids watching. You see it at the Pama Pro division, how packed the crowds are, which is awesome to see kids watching. And we always want to educate the parents of these kids that, sometimes, they get that thought in their head from an ice coach that don't play roller hockey. It's bad for your game. It hurts your game. And so that's why we've had a Patty Maroon and a Travis Snow and you and Whitey and Oleski and all these guys that have done everything, and just to show, the opposite of that. So for you, what has roller hockey done to help your game on and off the ice? What have you seen on the ice that it's helped you with?
Oh, my patience, my vision, and my hands for sure. Roller hockey is a possession game, and being an ice player like second, I never really had that run and gun style like they're taught. So I think being roller hockey first, it kind of helped me right away to see the ice better and just kind of maneuver the puck around guys better and kind of learn different kind of things in that sense. And I never had that run and gun game. That's why I kind of got in trouble when I was younger.
Right.
Get the blue and dump it in, and I never believed in that. So I think roller hockey definitely helps with like your vision and everything else like that. So.
Yeah, and my last thing for you is, for these last bunch of years, you've had the privilege of playing on one of the premier organizations, with the Pama family and the Pama Levada Golden Knights. So just speak for a minute about what the Nijar family and the Pama group has meant to you, because they do so much for the sport, and and they're partners with myself with our Pama Pro Invitational. I love that family. Obviously, they do so much, and just for you personally and the team, just speak for a minute about what that means to you.
For me, they're more than a team, everybody else knows me as playing for Pama since 6 years ago or whatever it has been. But I've really been playing and like been with them since I was 13 years old. Sabraj is pretty much the reason I still played ice hockey. That guy is unbelievable, and not just him, his whole family would give up anything just to see somebody be respectful and nice and just a good person. And it doesn't matter what kind of stuff you're doing, doesn't matter if you're in trouble, whatever, they're going to help you because they know you're going to be good to them, and that's all they care about. They just want you to be a good person. It's an awesome family to be a part of because they hold you to a high standard, and especially when like Mike and Patty come to these tournaments, it's such a terrible feeling, like losing and letting them down because they do so much. So I think that kind of helps us give that drive and motive for the win,
Yeah, I mean, you guys are in a unique situation. It's got to be pretty fun when you get, or pressure when you have the owner, walk in the locker room before a game and give you a little talk or whatever, and you got to feel like you got to go out there and go through a wall for this guy.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, if he's mad at you, then we've done something really, really wrong, because that guy doesn't get mad usually. He just kind of takes it with a grain of salt and just that's it.
He's
Like,
always
he
very
doesn't.
positive. Yeah.
Oh, very positive. He's always telling us stories. Always. We got our rules and our numbers that we say before every game.
Yeah.
What's
your favorite rule?
Number 5.
Which
Best is yet to come.
There you go.
It's always. Or I like elephants don't bite too.
Yeah, that's my other favorite one. Yeah.
Because that's what he gets mad at me for. I tend to get a little worked up sometimes.
Yeah. Happens to all the best of us.
Yeah.
Well, John, we really appreciate you taking your Tuesday here in quarantine to spend with us. I know you could be out checking out the next baseball stadium to go skating around.
Yeah.
And filming with Ethan, but we really appreciate all you're doing for the sport. Keep up the good work with the Cali Street Hockey. We've been watching. I think it's awesome stuff you guys are doing there, and we definitely hope to see you this summer at the Taylor Sportsplex, the Pama Pro division. We're hoping to be there, we wish you well, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate you bringing me on here, and hopefully that all this stuff is ending pretty soon here, so we can see you in July.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, buddy. Have a
Sean.
good day. Okay.
What's up?
Have a good day.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, thank you guys. Have a good day, guys.
Take care.
See you later.
All right, later, buddy. All right, that was John Siemer, another Californian. We had him and Matt White today. So yeah, John's doing some great stuff. Him and Ethan. They're so creative with these things they do. I'm definitely lacking in the creativity department, so got to give those guys props. They come up with some pretty cool stuff. It's pretty impressive watching that stuff they do, and they're pretty talented too and skilled.
Yeah, it's awesome. Just their hands and their vision, and it's just crazy. I know I could never do any of that stuff.
Right.
When I was younger, I had some pretty good hands and stuff like that, and then moved back to defense, and I don't think I've ever juggled a puck like that since I moved back to defense. It's just kind of crazy. So I might start defensive videos now, since you see all these guys with all these offensive crazy tricks and stuff like that. Maybe we should start
games, right?
Yeah, maybe we should start some defensive videos, Tim.
Yeah, we'll get Amy and Kim out there. They could shoot pucks at our shin guards or something, and we'll work on blocking shots.
Yeah, that'd be pretty funny.
Well, we have an East Coast Ethan out here, Coach D, our buddy Dino Verone, he's doing his videos out here. So you could always check him out, Coach D. What's his handle on Instagram?
I think it's Coach D, Coach Dino, Coach Dino Verone. Yeah. We share his stuff on our Instagram story all the time. I know he was just in Manhattan yesterday, skating the streets and over near the bridges, stuff like that. So I'm sure he'll love that shout out to him. Coach.
Oh yeah, shout out to Coach D. He's doing good things too. Coaching a lot with the 495ers out of Skate Safe here. Coached a couple of youth teams from Team New York last year at State Wars. He's getting the youth divisions growing out here. He's doing a lot for the sport. A lot of people promote that they're doing a lot for the sport, but he is. He's coaching. That's what I always want to see. You're coaching the kids. You're actually going to the tournaments. Are you doing stuff like that? And Coach D definitely is all in. Coaching and whatnot. So he's our East Coast John, I guess. Let's call him Dino, I guess, from now on. But we got him out here doing some cool stuff. But it's great having those guys. Again, Whitey just is, we know him so well. So for us, it's like talking to a buddy, like on our Zoom chat with the snipers. But for people at home that don't really know, if you haven't watched Matt White play, watch him. Just an incredible hockey player, and just such a professional. And with John Siemer, same thing. Just such a great person. You can tell he's got a very, very modest upbringing. Works hard. He's got that that workman's attitude. Very positive. Great teammate. Is always going to give his best. Very skilled as well. Very great skater. We didn't bring up to him, but last year the Pama Pro division, we did our first skills competition, and he's known he wins every year the fastest skater, and he actually lost to Jaden Guzman, the youngster. So we should have asked him what it's like to. Now he's got to raise his game again. Now he's got a youngster looking to be the new sheriff in town in the fastest skater department. But Siemer's been the perennial winner of that contest for a while. Just such a great skater. But just two great guests today.
Yeah, it's great to see John's game, rise since the early days. When he first started, he's obviously so offensive, but he even touched on it a little bit, but his defensive game, really stepped up big time as he's gotten older. So, I mean, he plays both sides of the rink, and he works his tail off. He's gritty in the corners, scores those big goals, works hard defensive, and he's got hands and he could skate. So he's one of the best out there. That's for sure. He's got my vote.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's someone in the last couple of years, his game has gotten to the next level. When they're younger, sometimes players, especially they're fast, Speeds talked about this the other day too, about learning to change your speeds and whatnot.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you're younger and you're just a real fast skater, you just, work hard. And then, later on you develop other attributes. So he's someone I think, years ago, maybe was just known just for his speed, but now he's got so many other skill sets and he's become more of a complete player. Yep. And now he's definitely, one of the top players in the pro division. And, Rob Churnham is lucky to have a guy like him. When you could throw him and a junior and Alan Eaton and a Tino or a Olinger out there together, Garshi, any of those guys, the skill set is incredible. And
stupid.
I know as a coach of the Snipers, they're on my radar for this summer in the Pama Pro division. I look at teams that you got to think about, all right, who's the teams to watch out for? They might be the favorite going into it. Golden Knights. They got to be hungry. They haven't won that division yet. And, I don't think they've even been to the championship game yet, which is surprising. So I know talking to Rob Churnham, who's a good friend of ours, I think he thinks this is the year for sure. So they're definitely a team that's got to worry on the schedule.
Yeah, they've been knocking on the door the last couple years of Pama Pro, and they're always in that semifinal game. And this Ethon move may have put them over the top to make it to that championship. So I'm definitely excited to play against them. That they're obviously so talented, and hopefully they can make it to the championship this year. They put a lot of hard work in, and should be exciting to see.
Yeah, they're definitely a team that if you're selling tickets, you'd sell a lot of tickets for that team because the skill level is just so high. They're definitely a fun team to watch. Eaton as well, and I'm sure he'll be a future guest on this show. He's just, his skill set's incredible. Adding a guy like that to an already potent team, it's kind of like when you have Team USA, we talk about, on that team, if you got Travis Noah on one line and you worry about him, and your next line you throw out a Siemer and Eaton maybe, and who you worrying about, Junior and Tino, or you worrying about Siemer and John, so who are they saying? Siemer's playing Travis with Eaton. So, I mean, it's pretty tame. And then you got a third line, maybe it's Garsh's line or whatnot, and he's an incredible player. So that becomes, tough. And we talked about that with Boyarski the other day, where in the Pama Pro division, you truly need 3 strong lines to win. You could get by with 2, but you got to play 3 in those long games. So if your third line, if it's taking a step back and the other team isn't, then you could maybe take advantage of that third line. So you definitely need to be 3 lines deep, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, that year in Indiana, we showed the clip earlier with Matt White when he scored the winner in the semifinal. But we had 2 lines that tournament.
Yeah.
We were shot come championship time. We had 2 lines. Everyone was exhausted, especially going into overtime the game before. You need three strong lines and 3 lines that could do the work out there. So it's really important, and Pama definitely has that. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're going to be a team to worry about for sure. And then you got Alkali, is always strong. Black Ice, Black Ice has been the final every year they've been in the tournament. So you always got to worry about them. And, of course, the Roadrunners are an up-and-coming team, the Border Cats.
Yeah.
Just, one team after the next. Tor Mudcats, you can have a count out.
Rink Rat.
It's just such a tough group. And every year it gets tougher, I feel like. And our team's just getting older. So it's, it's not going to be easy. But, we're definitely looking forward to being at the Taylor Sportsplex for our pro division this summer. God willing here, hoping that things clean up a little bit here. And I see some light at the end of the tunnel, but I want to see a bigger shine of light. I know I always say this, want to mention again, special thanks out to all of our people out there working real hard. The doctors, the nurses, people working in the hospitals, police, firemen, grocery store workers, delivery people, UPS, FedEx, whatnot. Everyone that's, essential workers. Kind of makes you feel funny. You hear these words, essential and non-essential, like we're non-essential. Like, it makes you feel kind of like shitty, like, oh, I'm not even important,
Yeah, right.
Teachers, I can't forget the teachers.
Yeah.
I laugh a little bit. It makes you wonder during this time when you think about, people like LeBron James, or Brad Pitt, they make millions upon millions upon millions of dollars every year. And they're just sitting home like you and I are right now, not really doing much and just waiting for this to end. Meanwhile, a school teacher that's making $60,000 a year or someone working at a grocery store, they're more important, It makes you think different about the future of who really should be making the big bucks, Should it be that entertainer or should it be someone that you need to survive? And, I definitely think different about that stuff after times like this.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of articles about that, how hospital workers and teachers and even supermarket people, they should be making a lot more money, because their job is obviously pretty hard and it's essential. And it's just for what they're dealing with right now, it's pretty crazy, and hats off to them. We see it firsthand with the school teachers. They're up all night setting stuff up for their kids for the next morning, and they're on conference calls and blah, 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 blah. But, it's a lot of hard work there, and getting these kids to learn over the computer is really tough. So hats off to them.
I had Kim say the other day, she had a parent from her class call her up and just basically say, I apologize. I never realized what a problem my kid was at home trying to teach him. I'm sure he's a pain in the neck in class. I don't know how you do it. But I apologize. So it's pretty funny. I think they're seeing that other side of it now with this homeschooling. That is, I know me with my 7-year-old, just the attention span of sit down, do this, do that. It's not easy. So imagine having 25 7-year-olds in front of you. So
absolutely not.
It's not easy.
So what are you guys doing for the rest of the day?
Well, it's 3:00 here now. Hopefully it's still sunny out. Probably go out and, enjoy the day a little bit. Try to get some exercise with the kids or whatnot. How about you? Got some trees you got to pull down or plants you got to?
No, not today, Tim.
No?
Just probably get some exercise in, maybe hit up the grocery store later on. And hopefully we're in and out there, and hopefully enjoy some margaritas and some Mexican food today.
Yeah, happy Cinco de Mayo again. This is Tim McManus and Greg Thompson. State Wars Hockey Podcast number 9 is coming to an end, and we'll see you on Thursday, everyone. Glass Half Full Productions. We're out.
Adios.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is PJ Cavalla, the voice of State Wars Hockey, and you are watching the SWH Podcast brought to you by Glass Half Full Productions. Thank you to all of our amazing sponsors: Mission Bauer, Tour, Alkali, La Beta, Rink Rat, Conix, Warrior, Monkey Sports, Yord Watches, Car Shield, Rocket Puck, Wraparound, and Top Shelf Targets. We look forward to seeing you all on the rink soon.